Alright, enough of that. That music is insufferable indeed, and I'm glad that we finally get to shut down that music. Michael Byers, welcome back to the stream. Can you hear me? Coolio. Good stuff. Welcome back aboard the Easyjet A320. Today's flight plan is from Geneva, Switzerland to Amsterdam Schiphol and then over to Basel Mulhouse. So we're back in the career mode, Easyjet A320, and I'm looking forward to a good flight today. I finally got some settings tuned. I'm feeling a lot better, no longer sick, so that's awesome. And let's go ahead and get this flight started. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and generate our flight plan for the next flight. And our first flight is to Amsterdam Schiphol. Generate it. It's going to be a short 1 hour hop just about. So we will generate it and then we'll reference the EFB in our sim. Okay, flight plan has been generated. I'm not flying on VATSIM today, but we have live traffic. So these are real airplanes here. I mean, this is not a real airplane that's parked, but it is based on real data of where they do park and what airlines park where. Amsterdam moved Starbucks headquarters there. Nice. I didn't know that. And there's our flight plan. So we'll make sure that this is running. We're in pre-flight stage. Good stuff. Ground services, we have the jetway connected. We'll get the GPU connected as well. We'll get some aft stairs and two left as well. Aft and forward cargo doors open. And we'll go ahead and fetch our briefing here so we can start plugging away at our flight. So as I was saying, I optimized the settings a little bit throughout the week. And now I got it. I'm pretty happy with how sharp everything is. As you can see, I'm getting good FPS. You're getting a 60 FPS stream right now. However, it's running at 720p. But everything looks really good now. I'm really happy with it, and you'll be able to get a chance to see all that once we get going. So we've imported our briefing here. So let's go ahead and get this programmed. So we have a zero fuel weight of 62,455. 62,455. And that goes there. And our fuel for today's flight that we need is going to be 6365. And Mike, have you been able to do any more IFR flying? Have you been trying out this sim brief stuff? We are EZCS. EZS or EZCS? EZS 1361. Cost index of 34. Cruise flight level of 360. And that's been initialized. Yes, you have. Nice. Good to hear. And that's good stuff. That's good stuff. 62,455. 62,455. 62.5. Is that our block fuel? Once again, is 6365. So 6.3. Did they teach me to fly the A320 at school? No, they do not. This is all self-taught. The only things they teach us to fly right now at the beginning is the Cessna 172. Then we graduate on to the Beechcraft Baron, and that's to learn multi-IFR flying, multi-engine IFR. And then we do later on in the program, we learn how to fly the CRJs, because most of us will be getting recruited by Air Canada Jazz. So as a result, it's important to know how to fly the CRJ, and even if we don't get approved or hired by Air Canada Jazz, it's still going to be super helpful later on when another airline comes around. You think you have a good sense of how it works, what works, the A320? Are you looking to fly the A320 soon? Because I hope these streams have been helping a little bit. Our EHAM arrival is going to be 18 right on the Helen 2A. 18 right. Oh, that's the really far out one. That's okay though. We are the Helen 2A arrival, and that's the flight plan. And now we'll do the performance. SimBrief. Oh, okay, I see. Yep, SimBrief is a great tool. I would not fly without it. There's that. So we actually have a wet surface today, and we're doing runway 22. So we're gonna get a new 147, 157, 158, 147, 157, and 158. Takeoff shift is 1/DN 1.0, 1/DN 0.1, or 0.2, and flex to temp is 62. And there's that programmed. So we'll go ahead and get everything set up here. Beacon lights coming on. Nav and logo lights, we'll leave them on to 1. We'll go ahead and signal to the passengers in the back that we want them to get seated and get ready to go. Our dome lights are off. Strobe lights on automatic. Beacon lights are on. Everything else looks okay up here for the time being. We'll run this on aft there. Available is external power. We don't need that anymore. APU bleed is on. We'll get the probe and heat windows and stuff like that. Yeah, you can, and it's really makes it easy and fast to get going. We'll disconnect the chocks. We'll disconnect everything. Close the doors. Toggle the jet away. Actually, we gotta load the actual aircraft first. Okay, load complete. Ground services, and make sure we toggle the jetway away. There it goes. Good stuff. And we just need the zero fuel weight Mach. So 31.2 is the Mach. /31.2. And there we go. We're all set and ready to push back. So we'll get the tow connected. Connect that tug. And everything is good up here. Everything is good down here. Everything is good down here for the pushback. And parking brake released as the tow pin has been inserted, and we're pushing back out and to the right. And let the pushback begin. Still got a little bit of drizzle. Okay, we don't have a lot of time here to sit back and watch, because we're going to have to turn the pushback to the right. See, the only drawback with this add-on right now is that the pushback, the toolbar pushback doesn't work. Apparently it causes errors for the plane, and so it ends up crashing the plane and such, so we have to use the iPad right now to do pushbacks. We'll go ahead and stop him now. Parking brake on, tug disconnected. Engine number 2 is still starting up, and we'll go ahead and start engine number 1 shortly. In the meantime, let's set our cruising altitude for 360, 3 as in tree. Going up to 360, and we'll make sure that that is managed. Okay, engine number 2 is available. We'll get engine number 1 started, and there she goes. And now we can sit back and listen to this one starting up. Awesome, man. This plane is such a workhorse. I love this plane. I gotta be honest with you. If I end up flying anything else other than this plane, I will not be too happy. I'm just gonna adjust the sounds here, get the sounds a bit higher up. I think that's better. And let me know if you can still hear me okay. So engine number 1 is a good start. We'll flip that back to normal. We'll set our flaps for takeoff, which is flaps 1. We'll get those ground spoilers armed. We'll get the taxi lights on. Wing lights, we can turn them on, why not? APU switch, we can get that APU turned off. And we'll go ahead and let the front cabin know that we are ready to taxi. We'll get the landing lights in the off position. And we'll double check to make sure that our tracking is still working, and it is. And one more thing, we'll double check the takeoff config. Auto brake is not on max, so we'll set that to max. And one more thing we'll do is we'll check our flight controls. Okay, so we got full up, good, neutral, full down, good, neutral, full left, good, neutral, full right, good, neutral, full rudder right, good, neutral, full rudder left, and that's good and neutral, so we're all good to go. We'll just, we'll turn off that display and let it flip to whatever it wants to flip. Everything looks okay up here. And one more time checking the lights. Lights are good. And the only thing we have that's still on up there is the probe heat, which is what we want. And here we go. Parking brake is off. Oh, stem TCAS. We gotta get that TCAS running as well. There it is. So now we're TA only. So our arrival today in Amsterdam is going to be pretty exciting because they have some really nice scenery there, as Sobo does. And on top of that, we have the live traffic on as well, so we should be able to see some pretty cool active airways around there. And lots of ground traffic as well, so that'll be really nice to see. And I gotta say, Sobo did a very nice job with the modeling over at Amsterdam Schiphol. So it's always a pleasure to fly in there, and it's default, it's free, so it's great. I love it. It's a little hard on the frames, but hopefully with these new settings that we've enabled now, it won't be a factor. And as we taxi here, we have a maximum speed limit of 30 knots on the ground, so after we complete this turn, we'll go ahead and accelerate, get this taxi going a little bit faster. Okay, there's 29, and we'll keep that going. A little bit of a wing view there with our takeoff flaps set. And the mountains, the beautiful mountains of Geneva. Look at those clouds as well. Absolutely stunning. This is the best payware aircraft you can get for this flight simulator, in my opinion. This with the PMDG 737, and you are golden. We do need a long haul though. I've been saying this for a little while. The Airbus A310 does a job, but it's old school and it's not really flown anymore by these major passenger airlines, so it makes you feel a little lacking, you know. And we'll go ahead and continue our taxi. Look at that, we got water on the ground over there. So, oh no, actually that's just the messed up texture. But we do have a rain cloud coming in right over the runway right now. I think that's being pushed. Or no, actually that one just flew over us, so it's being pushed this way since we're taking off on 22. So we're doing 29 knots now. We'll go idle on the throttle. Our takeoff config is all good. And just before we make that turn onto the runway, I'll go ahead and turn on our landing lights for takeoff. And we'll do a rolling takeoff the European way. Flight director is flipped on, so we'll be able to see that. Brightness is accordingly as well. Doing 28 knots on the ground speed. We'll speed it up just a smidge. Then in the turn, we're gonna have to slow down a little bit anyways. Bit of braking action here, and we'll get those landing lights on at this time. Landing lights on. And rolling takeoff, we're cleared. Departed out of a pretty decent rain out of lax last night. That's awesome, man, and I'm sure that with this beautiful sim, you managed to experience the full effect. So that's awesome. And we're lined up with the center line. We'll go ahead and get those throttles up to 50%. Wait for the engines to stabilize. Engines are stabilized. And flex. Thrust ref. 80 knots. 100 knots. Alright, we might need to punch this engine in a bit more. We're gonna keep an eye on their speed and the runway length remaining. Bit of a long takeoff, but we do got a 15 knot headwind, so that makes up for the flex there. There's 160, and that's our rotate speed, and up we go. Positive rate landing gear up. We'll wait for 400 feet above ground level, and that's when we'll start to reduce our flaps. For now, we're gonna remain in climb mode and pitch for climb. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are up in the sky at Geneva, on our way to Amsterdam Schiphol. Thrust lever climb. And there it goes. That's it. Thrust lever is in climb. We'll go ahead and engage autopilot, flaps up. And everything is good to go. We are fully managed. We are on our way out. Climbing through 3,000 feet. We're low on the speed though. We'll actually get that flap one back down for the time being here. Okay, we're just passing the slats there. Okay, we'll get it up. So our departure out of here, we're gonna have to do a sharp 180 turn at those mountains because they're on our way. They're in our way, and the minimum altitude to pass over them is around 6,000 feet, so we don't want to go any lower than that over them. So that's why we have to do a bit of a 180 turn here during our critical phase of flight. And also, that's not the direction we're heading in. We're heading in towards Amsterdam Schiphol, so we do have to make that 180 turn regardless. There's 4,000, and everything looks okay still. Our flaps have been retracted. We can put away our ground spoilers. We're doing 250 knots. Speed is good. 5,000 feet. KSFO was so foggy, runway didn't appear until 500 feet. Oh, that must have been exciting. So you had a little bit of an IFR flight there. Did you use the ILS or RNAV? I'm assuming ILS, but I don't know if your GA aircraft that you were flying was capable of ILS. 6,000 feet. So we're doing good, we're doing good. ILS, cool. And we're about to begin this turn over this mountain. So we'll switch over to the window seat and enjoy that view. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. I always fly ILS or RNAV. Great. It's important to get that IFR practice in. Oh man, what a beautiful simulator. And look at that. Look at that rain happening right over Geneva right now. That is awesome. Bit of a weather shift there, it looks like. Nice rain developing over Geneva. Okay, we're getting some turbulence here. Some gusts. Oh yeah, look at that. And that's most likely because we're flying over these mountains right now, so that explains it. And I believe if we're lucky, we'll be flying through some of these clouds on our way up. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be flying for this one up here ahead of us. And yeah, this is going to be cool. I'm excited. I am excited. We're doing 11,000 feet, so we'll go ahead and pull standard on the QNH on both sides. We can shut down our landing lights and the nose lights off. We will maintain the seatbelt signs on for the moment due to the turbulence caused by the mountainous terrain around. So we'll go ahead and just keep these on to keep our passengers safe and comfy in the back. As you can see, we are experiencing some heavy gusts, and we have a 30-knot crosswind from the left. That's going to act as a tailwind for us throughout the majority of our flight as we get higher. And we'll go ahead and flip over to this wing as well. Give this one some love too. Look at those clouds. Absolutely amazing. Yes. A little bit of a rainbow effect happening there, looks like. Doesn't seem very accurate, but I'll take it. Very, very nice. Very nice. That is absolutely amazing. Makes you feel like you're really there in the real thing. Feels like real life. That's just awesome. I feel like I'm actually going to Amsterdam right now. So that's 13,800 feet. We're doing another left turn here. Looks like we're going to be flying through this cloud as well. So we might get some pellets sounds on our windows as we climb through that rainy cloud. And if anybody's interested in learning about what system I'm using here for this career flight, it's called A Pilot's Life. This is the application here. This is what it looks like. You sign up for this. It is a £30 expense. I had to pay £30 or 30 euros to buy this program, but it's not a subscription. You paid once, and then you can sign up, become a pilot, pay for your first flight rating, which is $2,500. They start you off with a $5,000 starting balance. And then you can go into the job market. You get a few automatic offers as you are a low-ranking pilot. And this is the offer I got. I got offered a job for Easyjet, and I have the A320. I have the A320 rating, so that's the job I got. And we'll go ahead and sit in the passenger view as we fly through this monstrous cloud here. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. And it looks like we're just touching the top tip of it, which is unfortunate. I wanted to go right through the heart of it, but that's okay. We'll flip over to the other side. There that is. Very nice. A little bit of turbulence. As you can see, the wing flex is on point today. And we continue our climb through 18,000 feet. We're doing a speed of 320 knots, which is excellent. Our ground speed is 413. So it is climbing, it is getting there. And we've adopted a bit of a more shallow ascent now, only climbing at 2,000 feet per minute, which is pretty good. And we're about to go into this other wall of clouds. Look at that, that is absolutely stunning. So we still got 36,000 feet in the box. That's managed. Everything here is looking good. Everything up here is looking good. And yeah, we just kind of sit back and relax a little bit. That's the only downside with this Phoenix A320 is that once you're up in the air, there's not much else to do but to monitor. Departures are the procedure to the transition. From there, it's en route, and arrival is the procedure to leave en route and follow the ILS procedure to the runway. Question mark. So yes, the departures are the procedure to the transition point. The transition point is usually either the start of your flight plan leg, or it's a bit of an extension of the departure that connects you to your flight plan leg. Now, what I've found interesting here in Europe is that there are not as many transition points as there are in the US. So in Europe, it seems that you kind of just go direct to the beginning of your star, or you go direct to the beginning from the SID, you go direct to your leg. However, in the US, almost every flight plan I file in the US, I end up having to plug in a transition point. And then yes, for the arrival is the procedure to leave the en route and follow the ILS procedure to the runway. That's correct. It'll take you from your route down to the runway in line for an ILS approach, depending on the runway you select. You got it exactly right. That's what it does. A bit more of a wing view. I'm really simping for this wing view right now. Just a beautiful day to fly out here in Europe. We're doing 23,000 feet now. Still at a speed of 320 knots. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to shoot them my way. I'm always happy to answer any questions and help out with any problems you may be having. Or if you want to get into flying airline simulators or airliners in the simulator, I'm always happy to help, that's for sure. We're doing 24,000 feet. We still got quite a bit to go. Looks like a very stormy morning over Europe. A very stormy morning. So, as per our contract with Easyjet, we have, I believe, another 3 or so days until we are free to find another job. And at that point, I'll be applying for American Eagle. I will apply for Air Canada Jazz and Air Canada Rouge. I really want to get in with Air Canada Rouge because I love the destinations that they fly with the A3, 18, 19, and 20. Actually, I don't think they have an A318, but with the A3, 19, and 20, they fly to some really nice destinations, and I would love to have the chance to do the same in the simulator. But if not, if I don't get accepted to any of those jobs, I'm happy to continue to fly here in Europe, and I'll definitely want to make a stop by in Romania. That is my home country. So that would be pretty cool to fly to Romania if Easyjet Switzerland does fly there, which I don't think they do because I've never seen an Easyjet plane parked over there, but you never know. And we don't give the external view here enough love, so let's go ahead and do that. There's our beautiful A320. check that out. We got some traffic up there behind us. Another airplane up there. And if anyone's curious about my settings, my computer is like not the high end. This is like a medium end computer, and these graphics for this computer are absolutely blowing me away right now. I'm streaming, I'm running the sim, getting above 30 FPS with these clouds, and on the ground about 30 FPS. At Geneva I was getting 35, and at Amsterdam we'll probably get 28 to 30 once we are on the ground, but not during landing. During landing it's pretty smooth, I find. But yeah, I got the, if anybody's curious, I have the Asus G14, the 2021 version. So it's got an RTX 3060, which usually comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM. This one has only 6 on the VRAM for the RTX 3060. Got an R9 5900HS, so it is 20% worse than the AMD 5900X. It's not a great computer by any means, but these frames and these settings are achievable in my opinion. Yes, I am excited for that as well, and you best believe I will be mounting a GoPro anywhere I can and filming cockpit videos for you guys on the daily. There's no way I'm gonna let an opportunity like that to pass. So even if the airline doesn't allow it, I will find a way to negotiate. I will find a way to do it. Because a lot of airlines in Canada do allow for you to film. I have a real estate agent that I've been doing some marketing for. He's actually a pilot at Sunwing, and he's allowed to mount a GoPro in the cockpit and let it film his entire flight. He's a captain as well, so he's going to be doing something like that for some of his marketing stuff for his real estate. So if he can do it, why not me? But anyways, eventually I want to build this channel to be like the cornerstone of things that's got to do with aviation. So I'm talking like educational videos, entertainment videos, kind of like this stream, you know, keeping it lighthearted, but also getting some good content out. So I've been trying to improve the quality of my content, and I think with my most recent video, the one that I did with my professor there in the 777 simulator, I think I'm starting to get a hang of it. Now that we are in the game. I see so many do that. I really hope so. I really hope so, because there are some airlines that don't. I can know that for sure. And actually, I was going to try to record flights that I'm doing in my flight program at Seneca College, but it turns out we're not allowed to film cockpit videos, and I guess that's got to do for something to do with insurance or liability or something. I'm not entirely sure what the reason is, but they told me I can't, so I won't be able to do that. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Michael. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was a fun video to film. It was definitely interesting, and I'm really happy that the professor was happy with the video and allowed me to post it. I had to get his explicit permission to do so, because he is a professional, and obviously he doesn't want to look bad, right? In his professional light. So, but it all worked out. I thought they did if you paid a fee. You thought they do what if you pay a fee? Oh, the flight simulator does, yes, but the school, no, the school you're not allowed to film at all. Is my understanding right now. I will reach out for further clarification to some other administrators at the school. But in the simulator, yes, you can use their camera for a fee. My agreement with them is a bit different though, so I use my own recording equipment and I get away with it just fine. I'm talking about the simulator here, but in the school I'm not allowed to film any of my practice flights at school. Well, you know, it makes sense in a way, like if somebody gets into an accident, right? They want to cover themselves because as a student there, you're technically representing that school. So if you get into an accident, you haven't filmed, Transport Canada is going to demand that you hand the footage over, and yeah, it's a liability issue. They want to keep themselves and their students free of litigation and everything like that, so. Man, this looks so realistic though. I love this. I love it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this speed increased. Just to get there a little bit faster, we'll increase the ground speed as a result. I'm aiming for about 500 knots on the ground speed, because that will cut our time quite substantially to our destination. We are almost at the halfway point, not much more to go. This is a very short flight, as I learned. As in the last stream, I left off at, what was it, Basil Molehouse, and I just decided to fly around for fun, testing out a few different settings, you know, trying out a few different things. So I learned it's a pretty short flight to Amsterdam and back. Yeah, I love how Microsoft Flight Simulator looks as well. I love it. And you know, it's amazing to me the optimization that's gone into this simulator. Like the fact that it looks like this and it can run this well on my machine. When I've played X-Plane 12 very recently, like last week, I was trying X-Plane 12 out. I bought the Tolis A321 and I bought the Flight Factor 767 for it. And the graphics on that simulator were like 50% worse with worse performance. So I don't know how that works. But I guess, you know, it's also personal preference. I don't bash on anyone who flies X-Plane 12 or 11. I used to fly those flight simulators exclusively before Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and even now I still fly those simulators around with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So as those simulators, the physics in them are absolutely incredible. Like every single little bit of wind that gets thrown on the body of your aircraft, you feel it. Where in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it feels just a little bit more linear. However, they've also nailed down the flight model pretty well with this as well. However, as I understand, Microsoft Flight Simulator, they use a table of performance values they get from the manufacturers of the airplanes that they simulate, and they use that table of values to help calculate the physics. So it's kind of like a hybrid model, whereas in X-Plane 12, they don't get any data sheets or any information from the manufacturer. They model the plane in the simulator as it is in real life, and then they run constant calculations on all of its surfaces throughout the entire flight. at every second, every millisecond, they have a calculation running to calculate how the wing is affecting the whole plane at every stage of flight. So every little piece of the surface has a different point of calculation on it, where they're calculating the physics behind every single point on that body of metal, that airplane. And but at the end of the day, you just can't beat this. Like, the immersion in this simulator is just amazing. I feel like I'm actually going to Amsterdam right now. And I'm really happy that I finally managed to get it where I'm happy, because I was trying out all the presets, man. I was doing high, medium, low settings, and it was just garbage performance and all of them. But it looks like I finally figured something out that works, and I'm happy with it. And it looks extraordinarily sharp as well. So what other hobbies are you doing there then, Michael? I'm curious. Xbox? You play games on Xbox? Nice. I could sit here and watch this wing view for hours. It's so peaceful. No crying babies on board to piss off anybody. 3D printing, that's cool. I always found 3D printing to be pretty cool. I just never got into it fully. Unfortunately, it is a very expensive hobby, that's for sure. I guess with the hardware once you get to set up, but then I don't imagine the resin is very expensive, is it? $25 for 2.5 pounds. Not bad. I'm sure you can make some pretty cool models with that too. So what kind of things do you model in it then? print some stuff for this sim. Nice. I'm assuming that's got, like, talking to, like, hardware for your dashboard thing. A big robot. Cool. Cool stuff. Better buttons or handles. Nice. Nice. I guess the sky's the limit when you have a 3D printer to do all that, to help you out with all that stuff. Yeah, they do. It's pretty stormy weather, it looks like, over Europe at the moment. Okay, I'm curious to see here. 36 hours to print 2 pieces. Wow. That's a lot of time. Let's take a look at our approach here today. We got 18 right for our landing runway, but I want to make sure that we will have... we're not getting that runway that's really far away. And you'll see what I mean in just a second here. I'm not really coherent. So there's the airport chart. That's 18 right. That's the runway we've been told to take. And this is my problem. Look how far away that runway is from the rest of the airport. So we'll do a little bit of an adjustment. We will go for 18 left, so we can land right in here and get into the terminal. As our apron is right around here, as this is where a lot of the small planes are parking. So once we get on the ground, we'll see a lot of Easyjets and some other regionals parking up in this area. So we'll aim for 18 left. As a result, we'll go ahead and we'll change our arrival to point at 18 left. So we'll go up to secondary flight plan, copy active. And for EHAM, we'll do a new arrival. It's going to be the ILS 18 left. Is that even an option? Wow, so it's not. Why isn't 18 left an option? Maybe it's not really meant to be an arrival runway. Okay, no problem. So we got 18 center. We can do 18 center as well. Or we can do a bit of a crosswind landing by doing 24. Let's check the Madar. See what our Madar is saying. So we have 220 at 22 knots, so that's 220. So that means that we can take runway 22 and be directly into the wind. Or we can take 24 and be slightly off. So we'll take 24. Let's see if we're going to do ILS 24. Here's ILS 22, ILS 27. Okay. So we might have to take 27. Oh, ILS 22 and ILS 27. So we do 22. We have a pretty short taxi if we just do runway 22. So I'll aim for runway 22. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do runway 22. It's a bit short. So let me just double check what the minimum runway length is. We'll actually do an arrival calculation here. So EHAM runway, what was it, 27? Oh no, runway 22, we were looking at 22. So if we do runway 22, and we'll assume a good / medium, we'll apply the METAR, aircraft config, long distance procedure, flap full, landing distance procedure, hydraulics, navigation, slats and flaps, fire controls. So what does this do? Okay, so we've applied the METAR, we've done this landing weight. It's asking for our landing weight, okay. So what's our sim brief landing weight then? Takeoff weight and law landing average weight. I'm assuming that's what that means. But our zero fuel weight is that, and I know we only had 6,000 pounds of fuel, so that makes sense. If we bring it down to 2,000 pounds of fuel left, we'll be at this weight. So that's the landing weight. Yeah. So we're looking at 65,368. 65,368. Okay, and we'll enter. Okay, so look at that. We have less runway than we need, so it makes sense why SimBrief told us to take runway 18 right. Okay, good to know. That's really good to know. Let's see. So let's go back to our chart. So it looks like 22 is no good either, and it's probably more of a general aviation / private jet landing runway. Do we have 27 available? We do. So if we do 27, if we get off here, we got a little bit of a taxi to go around, and that's the only other one that's available for us to go in relatively in the wind direction. So we'll take a look at runway 27. Okay, 27 has got the proper length, so we have plenty of room to stop. Oh, look at that. There's a contrail of a plane that just passed below us. There it is there. It's not really visible too well, but... Even at idle, airliners use a lot of fuel. That, yep, 100%. That is true. Oh. Okay, so 18 to our left is out of the question. 22 is out of the question. 18 center is available, but it's just going to land up to being about the same taxi as 18 right. So we have 27, and runway 24 is not available for an ILS landing. Yep, so we'll have to do runway 27. Alright, well, we'll plan for ILS 27, and we're still on the Helena 2 arrival. We'll clear that message. Okay, return. So now we have EHAM runway 27. And watch this. We'll do secondary flight plan. We'll do activate secondary flight plan, and done. Now we have runway 27 programmed for our arrival. And that's the thing with the Airbus. You have to create a secondary flight plan if you want to divert to a different runway. Alright, so we'll do performance, next phase, and our QNH for arrival is 0996. 0996. Okay, destination data has been set, and we have runway 27 set. How are we doing here? We're almost at the top of descent. We're still doing the max speed. Yikes threw us through for a freaking bone. Yeah, it sure did. Sure did. That was a bit of a dilemma there. But we got everything set up now, so we're good to go. I love this window view. Beautiful. Okay, so we're about to begin our descent. We have about another 30 nautical miles. No, less than that. About 10 nautical miles actually. Yeah, just about 10 nautical miles. We'll go ahead and initiate the descent at this time, and we'll just double check the approach altitude. So it looks like it's gonna be 2,000. So we'll set 2,000 here in the MCP. And we'll let the aircraft manage speed. And there we go. Descent is beginning. You're taking the Squirrel 2 departure out of Kalax. Nice. Are you flying right now while watching my stream? Nice. And we're doing 22,000 feet. We're right on our descent speed. We have a deceleration node coming soon. And we'll refresh the radar and make sure that we're still doing 220, 22 knots. We'll have a direct headwind of 22 knots on our approach. We will set up our config, so we're doing a approach speed of 134 with full flaps. We're gonna do config 3. No, let's do full. We'll do full. So we got 220 and 22 knots. And that's it. Transition altitude is 3,000 feet. Is that correct? Yep, 3,000 feet for the transition altitude. And QNH is still 0996. We'll go ahead and get the landing lights on a little early. Doesn't hurt. It looks like we're expecting a little bit of rain, or at least cloudy weather out here in Amsterdam today. A little bit more wing view for you. There's the coast of the Netherlands. And we'll stick from the cockpit view from here on out as we're approaching a critical phase of flight. So the plan is we're going to be flying along the coast up until Eham, and it's going to be a right hook into the approach runway. And we'll switch into plan mode here, so we just double check everything, make sure it all looks good. Okay, so we got a sharp turn in. However, that's going to give us enough space there within 10 nautical miles, so it'll give us enough space to set up the aircraft and get in there for a nice landing. Our landing lights on, nose lights on, seatbelt signs are on. Outside air temperature is 5 degrees, so no need for anti-ice. And Mike, do you mind telling me how the stream quality looks? It's running at 720p, but does it look good? Yeah, it does look good. Alright, 9,000 feet. Just a little bit more to go as we descend onto Amsterdam. What a beautiful city. Seems to be pretty densely populated though. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but a bit of a wing view of the arrival in here. $8,000. So we're going to be passing right over the airport here on our left, and then doing a sharp left turn in. Check that out. There's 18 right. That's where we would have had to land if we didn't do this shortcut right there. But instead, we're going to be coming in on 2-2. So it'll be a nice, tight landing close to this terminal. Okay, we're at 4,000. Just a little bit more to go until we reach our transition altitude. But you know what? To make our lives a little bit easier, we'll do it now. So we're looking for 0996. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take manual control. And I'm going to fly the approach in manually. Okay, approach mode on, ILS on. And autopilot. Stand by. I saw a YouTube video but can't find now, but the gentleman mentioned some sort of web-based system where you can connect to your sim and make real money flying. Are you talking like real money? Like actual real money? That goes into your bank account? Autopilot disconnected and manual now. I'm aware of Walker Air. That's the airline I fly for virtually. However, you don't get paid real money. You do get paid like money that you can use on their site, but you don't get paid real money. I think anything that would pay you to fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator with real money that you deposit in your real world account, I don't think that would be I think that would be a bit of a scam, to be honest. Wow, man, there's a lot of turbulence. We got a 50 knot tailwind right now. Jeez. Okay, we'll go ahead and start this turn a bit early. No, we'll not. We'll stick with our flight plan. That's 2,000 feet, and beginning our left bank turn now for final. Yeah, it is a nice procedure turn, for sure. Flying it manually right now, too, no autopilot. And there's flaps 1. Have a look at the wing view. Nice. Not for too long though. Gotta keep an eye on that flight director. Flaps 2. Okay, I need to adjust these settings a little bit. We're gonna bump this object level detail up to we'll do 80. See the buildings a bit better. Now we'll do it 100. Leave it on high. Just double check one more thing before we continue. Buildings on high. Okay, good. Okay, glide slope is coming alive now. Localizer and glide slope captured. And runway in sight, landing gear down. Flaps 3. And flaps 4. .47-knot headwind coming into runway 22. It's a good thing we decided to change that landing runway because 38 we would have had a strong crosswind to deal with here. Landing gears down, 3 green, flaps full, auto brake medium. Are the spoilers armed though?
500.
Double check, double check, double check. We're good. Man, look at this wind. Holy cow. It's gonna be a tough landing, that's for sure. Jeez, I'm getting bounced around like crazy right now.
$50, $40, $30, $20, retard.
My goodness. Okay, go around.
$30,
Go around, go around, go around.
$10,
That was tough. Yeah, that was nasty. That was really nasty, man. We had a nice draft of air there at the end. Alright, so we'll set up another approach for runway 27. Okay, flaps up, ground spoilers armed. Auto brake medium, landing lights are still on. We're okay. That's a 50 knot headwind, my man. There's no way. Fuel on board is 3,000 kilos, so if we need to divert due to weather, we can do that. Imagine that we're flying with a ground speed of 271 knots right now. Because of the tailwind. Alright, let's get set up for this second approach. Localizer is captured. Approach mode is enabled. Headwind is showing 50 knots right now. Ground speed is 171 knots. Flaps 2. Never mind. We're gonna do 210, and then we're free to speed. So slow down our speed after this waypoint coming up. Okay, carried down. Glide slope captured. Flaps full. Speed brake armed. Autopilot disconnect. That wind is just keep changing. 30 knots. These engines are struggling right now. Holy cow. Man, we're getting bounced around. Holy cow. Land. Confirmed. My goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's bad.
Light slope.
40, 30, 20, retard.
That was a tough one. I'll take it though. Look at that, the headwind was so strong I barely had the chance to apply our reversers and it stopped us. Flaps up. And speed brake retracted. Well, at least we're on the ground and we can park now. That was incredible. There's all the big planes parked. This is not our area. We're parking a little bit further down. Okay, so landing lights off. APU master switch on and start. Get that brake fan on. Thoughts on the Cirrus Vision that was released recently? I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm personally not a fan of those smaller aircraft though. I pretty much only fly airliners. But I heard it's good. Why not? Okay, so we gotta take this left here, so we got a bit further to go. Usually the big planes park here. You know what, just for the effect, I want to get some more planes parked in here. This plane, this one was 50 euros. So it comes to about 65, maybe $70. Start up the FSLTL again. Yes to change. Additional parked aircraft will make that 60%. And now watch all the aircraft fill up all the gates. Yeah, there's Flybe. There's an Easyjet over there. You know, let's go park with over there with that Easyjet. Park with our brother. I'll sacrifice a few frames here on the ground for those. Not sure if you have it in you to learn an airliner. Well, yeah, it's not for everybody. You fly whatever you want to fly. I like flying airliners. You don't have to fly airliners though. You're not missing out on much. So you got nothing to lose. So we got another SAS A320 parked over there. sorry, 1 second. I wanna get this FSLTL set up to have a bit more traffic here at the airport. It's really cool to see all the planes parked. Yes, and I'll do 60% and no limit. There we go. Okay. Alright, there's a KLM parked over there. Looks like there's another A321 or A320 parked over there. There's a gate that's available off to the right there. Alright, let's do that. If you don't have this FSLTL add-on installed, Mike, I think you should. It's a really cool add-on to see all the parked aircraft at the airports, and they're all like the correct airplanes you would expect, the correct airlines you would expect to see at those airports. It's a bit of a hit on the FPS, but it's only when you're on the ground, so who cares, man? I'll take the hit on the FPS for this. I think it's well worth it. Once you're on the runway and during landing, they don't affect your FPS. We get the taxi light off so we don't blind the brothers on the ground. And parking brake set. APU has already been started. We can shut down the engines. And we can get those beacon lights off, wing lights off, seatbelt signs off. We'll begin deboarding. Get those aft stairs to left, forward cargo bulk. There you have it. That was a tough landing. Let's take a look at the score we got. Okay, score of 94. That's our lowest yet. Where did we screw up? Max ground speed less than 30 knots, fail. Landing light off before 10,000, that's a fail. And approach max airspeed above 200 knots, that's also a fail. That's debatable. I don't know what it means by that. We'd have to follow what the FMC had, as that was a speed restriction, but whatever. We'll definitely move to some type of jet. Well, get started with the fly-by-wire A320. It has a really good integration with SimBrief. You can't go wrong with the fly-by-wire A320. You really can't, and it's free. It's a free airliner. Has really good content on how to fly it. It's a little bit less complicated to fly than the Phoenix A320, that's for sure, and it's way more seamless. So planning the flight, you go onto the iPad once you've planned the flight, and if you've done it with SimBrief, you go onto the iPad and you just what I'm trying to say, you can import all the weight and balances. You can import the entire flight plan into the FMC. The only thing you have to plug in is you can import the performance figures into the FMC, and then the only thing you have to plug in is the departure and arrival. That's literally it. It's super easy, fast to set up. I'll do a flight with it soon, very soon. I'll do a flight with it here on the YouTube channel. for those that don't know or don't use it. Got some nice traffic here though. There's an A350 parked over there. Some 737s, A320s. Again, very cool to see, very cool. Let's see what happens if we bump this up to 80% ground traffic. So this is what it looks like without any ground traffic. It's completely empty and not nice at all to look at. But once we start the injector, we'll let it open. There it is. We say yes. And additional parked aircraft will make that 80% of all gates will be having parked aircraft. No limit. So we have 97 aircraft spawning in around this. Let's see. Nice. Okay, there's a Lufthansa A320. There's the Iceland Air 767 over there. Transavia 73. Air Serbia A318 or A319 that is. I'm not really sure. KLM 777 on the other side there. Yeah, it's really nice to see all the airplanes parked. Alright, let's get rid of that annoying whine. Brake fan off. And let's see how the FPS is doing with all these extra traffic around. Let's take a look. Developers on. Alright, so we're sitting at... yeah, we're sitting at 24 FPS. This FSTL program just wreaks havoc on the FPS. But it's well worth it in my opinion. I won't be running it at these high settings though. I'll keep it down. Just for my sanity. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on today's flight. Just planning on doing a second leg back over to Basel Mulhouse, but we'll do that in the next one. I think I'm going to live stream again tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for joining, and have a nice evening or nice night for those of you on the East Coast.